If you watch Stranger Things, then you already understand life insurance, but you just didn't realize it because the entire show is about sudden loss, chaos, and people finding out things too late. So instead of explaining insurance the boring way, I'm going to explain it the Hawkins way. Think about season one Hawkins. Everything is normal until it's not. Kids are missing, parents are panicking, and nobody really has answers. And then we just have Ted Wheeler.
Stay back! Stay back! Back!
No plan, no idea what's actually happening, just hoping things will just work out. That's what term life insurance is protecting against. Term life is for the part of life where you don't have everything figured out yet. You're working, you're paying rent or a mortgage, maybe you have kids, maybe you're just trying to stay afloat. Term life is basically saying, well, for the next 10 or 20 years, while things are unstable, if something happens to me, my family will be guessing. It doesn't last forever, just like early seasons don't. If the monster never shows up, great, the season ends. But if it does, there's a plan. Okay, now imagine this. What if Eleven's powers got completely wiped out after season 2? And she's like, hey guys, there's the gate, and coverage ended. That would be ridiculous, right? Because Eleven gained her powers back. She isn't tied to one season. She's there whenever life gets hard. And that's exactly what whole life insurance is about. Whole life insurance doesn't care if you're young or old, struggling or stable, single or married, it stays. And if something happens in your life, the people you love are protected. Whole life feels calmer because it's not about the urgency, it's about permanence. And same way, 11 doesn't disappear when things get hard, whole life doesn't disappear when life changes. Let's talk about Hopper. Not Hopper the cop or Eleven's dad, but Hopper who has a cabin, sets rules, stores supplies, has contingency plans, and eventually pulls out a flamethrower. That version of Hopper didn't just care, he prepared. And traditional whole life insurance is like that. It's permanent coverage with extra safeguards built in. Things like if something happens and I can't work, this policy doesn't fall apart. And if life goes sideways, protection stays. That's just like Hopper, making sure things don't collapse when pressure hits. This is one of the most underrated scenes in the entire show. Season 1, Jonathan goes to the funeral home to look at a casket for Will. And the man starts listing prices, and Jonathan just freezes. Because suddenly it's not about his grief, it's about finances. Like, how do we afford this, and what do we do if we can't? That moment is called final expense insurance. Final expense solely exists for one reason, so your family doesn't have to think about money while they're breaking emotionally. It handles costs like funeral costs, burial or cremation, and final medical bills. Jonathan should have never had to choose between honoring his brother and worrying about the cost. Final expense in these situations are incredibly important. Let's move forward to the Hellfire Club. They're not powerful, they're not rich, they're not protected by adults, but they always looked out for one another, even when the entire city was after Eddie. And that's what family protection insurance is about. It's not about changing your family's entire future, but it's about keeping them steady. It's enough money to cover immediate bills, buy time, and prevent panic. It's not legacy money, but it's stability money. After Chrissy wake up,
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this!
one thing became very clear. Life does not give warnings. Things just happen suddenly, randomly, and without permission. And now imagine being told, hey, you don't qualify because you waited too long. That's what guaranteed issue insurance is for. It doesn't interview you, it doesn't judge your health, it doesn't ask any questions. It just says, hey, you're covered. And that's Steve Harrington's babysitter energy. It didn't plan to be responsible, but it showed up. And guaranteed issue is that plan. Messy, late, but still covers you. People avoid talking about life insurance like everyone avoided talking about Will's bowl cut. We all saw it, we just pretended it wasn't happening. Ignoring it didn't make it any better, and that's why he doesn't have a bowl cut in season 5. Because planning isn't pessimistic, it's just being honest. All the products I mentioned today are offered by iCover Direct. And what is iCover Direct? Well, it is a D2C marketplace where you can get yourself a life insurance policy in just 5 minutes in the comfort of your own home. And you don't have to indulge yourself in medical exams or hectic paperwork. All you've got to do is visit iCoverDirect.com, answer a few personal and medical questions, and voila, you got yourself a life insurance policy, and that's how easy it is.